Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and we've got plenty to talk about. Most importantly, Arsenal still top of the league. Yes, they are, with a 1-0 win against Leeds. Some would say we're lucky. I would also say we were lucky. We rode our luck in the second half, especially. First half, we played well. Second half was a bit here and there, but I'm definitely putting that more down to Leeds United having an excellent game and being very unlucky not to get something out of it. They must be absolutely fuming. I know I spoke to one Leeds fan today and I fully made out like they got smashed all over the park. He was in the game. That's what it was. He was giving it the bigger beforehand. So, like, I couldn't walk in and be like, oh, no, like, we was really lucky. And I was like, yeah, smash and grab. That's what we do, mate. That's what we do. Sign the great champions, sign the great team. Yeah, you ain't nothing. And then I was like, I had to be like, look, you actually played really well. Jesse Marsh is actually doing some really good things, but they do need to fix up on away days as well because they got hope. To just keep on making that ground a fortress. I'm joined by Steve, Kate, and Jerome Marks tonight. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, we're good, mate. Good. I'm saying we're good. I hope Jerome's good. You good, Jerome?
Jerome, good?
Yeah, Steve,
Jerome, we're good.
Steve, you can always speak for me. That's fine.
There we go. Look at that. Right. Look at that. Dream team. All right. I am going to kick off with a little bit of a video. It's only like, it's not even a minute, it's like 20 something seconds. But I saw this video today. It was sent to me by my friend, and I thought I had to share it. It wouldn't be right if I didn't. And then I end up like it was food for thought afterwards, which it got me, honestly, this video got me so hyped. It's unbelievable. All right, let's go.
Arteta is preparing Arsenal to outplay their opponents, regardless what the opponent tries. Even against Liverpool, when Klopp tried something new to catch Arteta off guard, Arsenal stood firm.
They did something very different in terms of ball possession to what they did that game, so we expected that, and it's not easy to handle it when you expect it.
All thanks to this team's belief in Arteta's tactics. They have shown they have the potential to play through anyone, either through intricate passing or lethal counter-attacking display. When Arsenal perfect Arteta's final vision, they will be unbeatable. They're so close.
We have to respect the process. It's been really difficult. It's just different.
Shout out to the Tactics Hub there. Shout out to the Tactics Hub there for making that video. I think we just found our new intro.
Kids.
I just had food for thought after that as well, because you often see after match day, you'll see rival fans on your case. You'll see pundits talking up and smashing down Arsenal's opportunities or thought process of chances of winning the league or even competing for the league, even being in that conversation. Like the fact that there be pundits that will talk up Liverpool about being in title contention, yet they're scoff at Arsenal. Yeah, it's kind of insulting. The worst thing is for me is Arsenal fans right now. None of us are saying that we're going to win the league. None of us are talking about a title race. But what we're doing now is we're enjoying it, and that's the important thing. Yeah, don't let anyone take what's happening right now with Arsenal away from you. Yeah, don't let, because they will try and make you look stupid. They're going to try and make you second guess yourself. They're going to try and make you question your team. Do not let them take the joy away from you in supporting this team. All right. Remember these moments, boys and girls, because they go very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. All right. You enjoy the process, because the journey is the best bit. And it will go in a flash. Trust me. All right. I was there before and it went like that. You think it's going to last forever. Sometimes you're lucky enough to have it twice. And some people have been lucky enough to be with this team to see it 3 times. All right. It will come round again, but I can't tell you when it will happen. All right. So enjoy these moments. Back your team. Back your team when it's going good. back your team when it's going bad. All right, back your team because they appreciate it, the fans appreciate it, and we all feed off it. And when we come as one absolute army, no one can stop us. Look at what the fortress is at the moment down in Emirates. That's off the pitch as well at the moment. So embrace that. All right, embrace it because the footballers appreciate it and us fans appreciate it. Because right now, what's happening with Arsenal is special. All right, so enjoy the journey because when we do get back to the top, because we will, when we do get back there, oh my gosh, it's going to be unbelievable. But it's this bit here which you need to take in. All right, that's me done for that bit there. That's all I had to say.
That's it. That's the end of the show, isn't it? Thank you and good night and peace out and wash your hands. Nothing more needs to be said.
All right, let's get on to the Leeds game. I know we've already spoken to Steve the other day. We'll get back to you, Steve.
Yeah.
But Jerome, what were your thoughts on the Leeds game?
Yeah, I was quite fortunate really for the Leeds game because where I am, it was actually on the local TV here, so didn't have to stream it or anything like that. So I managed to view it from sort of start to finish properly. First half, I thought was 50-50 half really. We attacked, they attacked. It was quite an open game. Had a couple of chances before the goal, but going in at half time, 1-0 up, fantastic. Second half, I was getting flashbacks of like Newcastle away from last season with them just having like dominating possession and us just defending. A few attacks here and there from us, but really we were just sitting back and soaking up the pressure really. And definitely for me, the hardest game to watch of the season. Even though we have lost one game, I'd say that's probably our toughest game so far. We weren't really able to dominate the game, but we got a fantastic result yet again. Also, what we got to remember is we played Sunday early afternoon. Friday morning, these boys were still in Norway. They didn't fly back till the next day. The players were putting Instagram messages up of them on Friday morning in Norway. So, time they got back home, they had no time to prepare for this game. So, full credit to them. I think that's why you saw how pleased Arteta was at the final whistle. He probably wasn't. Probably doesn't. Not that he doesn't mind, but I think he can put that performance to one side and think, you know what, that's a cracking result. And maybe they haven't played how I wanted them to play, but you're not going to be perfect every week. So fair enough. And yeah, we've got 4 games left now till the Christmas break, and we've put ourselves in an amazing position, collecting these points. So yeah, cracking result.
Yeah, definitely. Steve, Jerome touched it there. Do you echo his thoughts in the fact that maybe this isn't the game when Mikel Arteta was necessarily looking at the performance overall, and it's more important today or on Sunday was to get the points on the board?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he was under no disillusion of how difficult a place Leeds is to go to, and I'm sure he would have taken that 1-0 victory before kickoff, and yeah, so he wasn't under no delusions. It was tough. It was really tough. I agree with Jerome. It was the toughest game of the season. For an Arsenal fan, it was an hard watch. It was different from the games that we've played this season. We couldn't get going. Our free-flowing passing football that we've been so used to seeing this season, we couldn't really get going. But look, like we said in the post-match, we've got to give Leeds a lot of credit, for that game. And look, it's nothing to do with title winning. People win the goal. Going to win the league have to have games like this. But it is true that any elite team, top side, will go through the season and play teams like Leeds and should have come away and got beat, but ended up winning the game. And that's the show of a top side. That's the show of a really top side. And we showed a different side of our game that we're going to need, not just against Leeds, we're going to need it again, throughout the season. So in a way, I'm sure Arteta, pleased him that this sort of game, they come through it. We got the 3 points, we got the clean sheet, and he see us under pressure and hold on. And I think at the end of the game, you could see, like Jerome said, he was over the moon. I think in his post-match interview, he was saying how happy he was the fight that the side showed. And yeah, I mean, looking back for me, I agree with him. And it was nice to see a different Arsenal and come away with 3 points. And yeah, so yeah, a good run out, a different Arsenal win. But most importantly, it was a win, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jerome, Saka just missing out on the young Ballon d'Or trophy. His performances in recent weeks has stepped it up. It seems like I think he's got 4 goals in 3 games. What have you potentially seen that's a little bit different over the last few games to? Prior to that, was he hadn't scored in 15 games, and there was a few people saying he needs to do this or he needs to do that, or he's not quite up with everyone else at the moment.
There's a very famous expression that I'm sure everyone knows, and it goes as follows: the cream always rises to the top, and that is what it is. He hasn't been doing much different, really. Maybe he's had a few more chances recently, perhaps a few one-on-ones. Stepped up with the penalty, the penalties. I don't think he's really doing much different, really. Like I've heard other people say, some games it's going to be when Martinelli makes the difference. Some guy, Jesus, will make the difference. And in recent days, Saka's making a difference. I think he's slowly getting into the season a bit more. He's playing a few more games now. Probably that's helped his confidence. I don't think there's any it's down to anything specific. I just think it's the fact that he's a bloody good player, and these players they go through spells when they do well, and that's what's happening with him, and hopefully it continues. I wouldn't put it down to anything else really. He's great service, great ball in by Odegaard again. To set him up, a cracking finish. That reminded me a bit of, sorry to bring it up, but when obviously the other side, that when Giggs scored that goal against Seaman, when he that type of angle, just right in the roof of the net above the keeper.
I thought he was about Stutter. Remember when we was playing? Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. That's horrible because we just lost every game, didn't we? But we played Fiorentina with Batistuta, Bayern Munich with their savage team, with their who was it? Not Mehmet Shah. I can't remember who it was up top.
Barcelona I think we had Barcelona there as well.
It's a tough group.
Yeah.
It was. I know. I can't think of the geezer's name. The German striker, wasn't it? The guy who scored loads for Germany.
Yeah. He was quality player at the time.
Oh yeah. Blonde.
Do you know what I mean?
Stefan Effenberg or something?
No, it weren't Effenberg. I can't remember the team. That's going to jar me. Yeah. Anyway, before I get sidetracked, Steve, you noticed anything about Bukayo Saka's game?
I think over the last few games we haven't seen the Bukayo Saka that we've been used to. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, I think we've said many a times that he's continuously played. So maybe he was having a respite on the pitch, so that ain't a bad thing. We always knew he was going to come good. But I think another thing that it could be the reason why recently he hasn't sort of shone like we know him to was because of, since the start of the season, the main guy we've all been sort of lauding has been Gabriel Martinelli. And a lot of stuff has been coming down from his side, and it's like Jerome just said. Sometimes, there's you're at the game because a lot of the players going down one certain side, or And it has seemed to me since the start of the season, Gabriel Martinelli is the one that you sort of noticed more, and we seem to be doing a lot more work down that left-hand side. Whether it's Tomiyasu, whether it's Zinchenko, or whether it's Tierney going down there, that side they're all used to each other. Now, I think Ben White, who's been excellent at right back, I think he's getting used to a sort of a relationship with Saka, because they haven't played with each other before. This is all new to Saka, so I think that's another thing. They're starting to sort of get a little good, relationship going together now. So that's sort of coinciding with Bukayo Saka's recent form over the last 2 or 3 games. Another thing that I think's improved, I think his shooting's improved. I mean, that goal the weekend was a fantastic goal, and he seems to be a lot more confident now with his shooting. I mean, the penalty was a massive penalty that he had to take against Liverpool, and he stepped up there and he buried that. I mean, we was all saying we was a little bit worried that why ain't Jesus taking it, but he got up, he stepped. So he's obviously very confident at the moment. And at the end of the day, this kid could do anything. He is one hell of a player. So nothing. I just think he's been quite by his standards. I think there's been reasons for that. Could be Gabriel Martinelli. It could be Ben White, getting used to Ben White. But he's certainly on it now. And hopefully for the rest of the season, which I'm sure he will be.
For me, I'm seeing that Saka, I feel like he looks a bit more powerful. He definitely, I felt like he's definitely bulked up. Like, I think all last season I was talking about, like, this kid out of nowhere, he's just got these massive legs. Like, he's just got massive legs now. And now he's bulked up a bit up top, and I feel like he's attacking the fullbacks more recently with a bit more purpose and a bit more power with it. So I think if he just adds some goals to his game in this sort of form, would be someone needs to hold him hostage until he bloody signs that contract, because all these clubs are going to be after him. Like, everyone will be after him, and they'll be paying all sorts of money for him, because this kid's talent is undeniable. He's going to go to the top. He's an excellent player.
I mean, there weren't many good performances, was there, against Leeds, to be fair? But he certainly was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had their left back on toast, didn't he? I mean, that turn of pace, Keys. Do you see that turn of pace where he just knocks it past him? And he was just gone, just left him for dead. Yeah. And I'm surprised he didn't get more of the ball. But I suppose then again, we've got to praise Leeds for that, for not letting us have the ball. I suppose more than anything.
Yeah, I think although there was that little bit of a situation at the end, Gabriel actually had an all right game. Watching the game back, I say he weren't even the worst of the defenders. Saliba had a stinker. So it's just a bit surprising. Look, I understand that Gabriel can be frustrating at sometimes, and for all the attributes that he has, those little moments where he's kicked out of Bamford, although Bamford did push him to the ground and it was a free kick in the first place. I feel like we're getting into a Ben White situation where we're completely dismissing these other players for a mistake that they're making. And I'm not even talking about digging anybody out over this, because look, we've got the result. It is what it is. We move on. But like, I see online, people are saying Gabriel's a liability. They need to get rid of him. Gabriel's this, Gabriel's that. I'm like, whoa. This is the same Gabriel that we've had for the last 2 seasons. It's been absolutely immense. Who year on year has been getting better. And yes, I was saying at the start of the season, what he needs to do this season is mature his game. Now, it's moments like that you're like, that. It's moments like that's the problem. That yes, you got away with it. Yes, it was a foul on you in the first place, but did you need to kick out?
No.
You didn't need
No,
to
we
kick
see
out.
Xhaka go up to him, didn't you, kids? Xhaka went up to him like after the incident, after we got the decision to return turned on our favour. Xhaka was straight up to him and in Gabriel's face, and he was looking at him and going like, as if you say, "You got away with one there, mate. Be careful."
Yeah.
When if Granit Xhaka's coming up to you and saying you got away with one there, you know you've done something wrong. So he needs to. He needs to because I don't want his game being overshadowed by silly incidents, silly incidences where, because I was watching the game yesterday again, and I'm seeing like there was one point where Leeds were through. Gabriel's gone in with a blocked it, got up, blocked it again straight away, and it was cleared. And it's like none of them things have been spoken about Gabriel because of that last bit at the end where there was no penalty, there was no goal, and he ended up getting a yellow card in the end.
No.
So he does.
No.
He needs to mature. He needs to sort out those aspects of his game because it can't be getting overshadowed.
One thing I've always said, Kears, about Gabriel is that whenever he makes a mistake or he makes a thing, he always comes back afterwards and as if nothing's happened. I've said it many a time. He doesn't hide. So that's why I think I said on the show, it's very difficult to mark him because he thinks something that you know could be thinking, Gabriel got to be careful. Like you said, got to mature his game a bit. But then afterwards, he'll go and do something that you're like, wow, unbelievable. So you're right what you said. You're 100% right. He's got to mature his game a little bit and he'll be fine.
Jerome, what was your thoughts on the incidents with Patrick Bamford?
Oh, God, I was
squeaky bum time, weren't it? It was worrying.
I was pulling the hair that I've got left. I was pulling my hair out when that
your chest there.
Yeah. I was pulling it all out in the 90th minute when that incident happened. I couldn't.
It was a 90th minute as well. It was a 90th minute. Literally, the final whistle blew after that.
Yeah.
I was like, you wait, we get on the post match. You wait, we get on the post match. I've had enough of you.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do it. And that's unfortunately the thing these days is you can have a fantastic game, but that is the one incident that gets highlighted. And I think when a player has that type of mentality or that type of I don't know, the aggression perhaps, I think it's hard to get it out of your game. I think it's
I don't think you can.
No, I don't think you can even. That's why it's a bit worrying because if that's the case and you're leading by a goal somewhere and there's a chance that something could happen like that, like it's a bit of a worry. It sort of makes all the good work that you've done sort of a bit irrelevant because it's such a highlighted incident that doesn't need to happen.
I know what you mean. There's look, Stephen makes a good point. He says Gabriel could be putting 9 out of 10 performance in the one thing he does stupidly. All his work is forgotten, and I completely understand that. It is frustrating. It reminds me of remember the other defender we had, Gabriel. Yeah, who was a good defender. But he was so aggressive. It was like, chill out. And then when he played against Diego Costa knew how to get into his head.
Oh, yeah.
Said a couple of things. Every single time Costa come on, he was getting sent off. It was stupid. And in the end, it was like, no, you've got to sell him. I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel for Gabriel. I feel like he can get through that. It's not Gabriel, that other Gabriel was just a hothead. You could feel his rage. But this one, it's like he's doing stupid things.
Yeah,
it's like it's childish.
Yeah. Sometimes people have that aggressive nature in them, maybe because they're lacking in different departments, and so they feel like, right, I need to be super aggressive here because, like, maybe similar to like maybe a Keown perhaps, whereas maybe technically he wasn't the best, so he was very aggressive. But this Gabriel, he doesn't need to do it because he's such a good player. Like, he doesn't need to go over the top. But like you said, with those blocks, like he saved us a couple of times. But when it's so obvious that you don't really need to do anything, the ball was running through to the keeper, like it's finished. Like the guy's got no chance of getting the ball. You don't need to do it. But
I think the couple of saving graces we've got in our team, we've got a manager in Mikel Arteta who has worked with so many different personalities that he would have definitely dealt with someone like Gabriel along the way. I mean, he's worked with Tim Cahill. He's worked with some Everton defenders who are probably nuts, who just go in and hammer people all the time. He's worked with some top of some of the world's best at Man City. Do you know what I mean? He's worked at Barcelona. He's done his training elsewhere, here, there, and everywhere. He's got people like Granit Xhaka in the team who can be like, look, mate, you can change that. You can adapt that. Don't ruin what you've got. Like it will come to catch up on you. Referees will stop giving you up chances. Stop looking at VAR. Not overrule it and stuff like that. If you're going to continue doing this stuff, like you have to be careful. And he has to. He does. He needs to take it on board. Look, Stephen makes another good point. Steve, I had to bloody get you on the show, mate. Rooney was the same. If you take it out of his game, he's not the same. How many times did we say, or how many times did pundits say he needs to curb his aggression? And then the next pundit would go, yeah, but if you take that away from his game, he's not the same. He's not the same player, but an attacker is different to defender. When a defender does it, it will cost you. Yeah, it's true, because he's got to be composed. He has to have an element of composure. Yes, we want that aggressive side. However, there has to be an element of composure to his game, and he has to. Sometimes he's just got to step back. He's got to know when people are trying to get onto him. Bamford's a very, very wily, smart person in general. And add that to a footballer. Bamford's someone who comes from, it seems like he comes from a well-to-do family, a well-to-do background. He's a very intelligent boy. So when he came on not just to, he came on to be a presence. Bamford's a very good striker. I've got a newfound respect for Bamford since he's been back in the Premier League. But he's also got that nastiness to him. He, like, as soon as he came on the pitch, he was pushing players all over the place. Scored a goal, but it was disallowed because he's pushed someone in the back. Like, he knew what he was doing, but 6 times out of 7, he might get away with that. Do you know what I mean? So he'd do it every time. Referees won't look at it most times. So you've got to be smart when players like that come on the pitch as well. So, he has to be measured. Great point. Exactly that. Another point that I wanted to make tonight was, how does Mikel Arteta keep these players happy, Steve? With the rotation, we've seen the likes of Zinchenko, Tierney, and Tomiyasu all play left back. Ben White's obviously come in and taken Tomiyasu's spot at right back. You've got Cedric sitting in the under 21s, who's now back to full fitness, but he hasn't got any game time and doesn't look like he's going to get anything anytime soon, even in the Europa League. That's just defence. How does Mikel Arteta keep this team happy? We'll focus on Kieran Tierney at first, because Kieran Tierney, obviously, I feel that the majority of people may have thought that he would have started in this game. Because if I don't know whether you saw the Sky Sports interview, really good interview with Kieran Tierney, where he basically said that Mikel Arteta took him into the office and broke the news to him early doors, so he was prepared that he wasn't going to be starting against Liverpool, and it was tactical. But it didn't seem like the Leeds one was tactical.
No, it didn't seem like he was tactical. I think he's just played Tomiyasu off the back of his performance against Liverpool, that he did so well, and because he's done well, he's put him in again. But look, rotation is very important for any successful football club. You know, rotating your players, keeping your squad happy is mega important. And the players who are not playing football are just as important as the 11 players that are on the pitch. And look, this is what Arteta gets paid massive money for. One of the massive things is obviously winning games to keep them happy. You know, if you're winning games, you're in the cup competitions. You know, we don't want to be getting knocked out, no League Cups or FA Cups or Europa Leagues. We want to keep that run going. If you keep that run going, you keep winning matches, you're able to rotate your players. If you rotate your players in those games, which I'm sure that's Arteta's plan, then you will keep them happy. And if one of the 11 has an off game, or or there was an injury, and then they'll come in, then they're good enough to stay in. And I think that's the way to go. With Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko's came in. We knew we needed Zinchenko. Tierney obviously very, very injury prone. I think he played 51% of Arsenal's games since he's been there. So it was a no-brainer that we had to get another left back of quality, just as good as Tierney, or if not better. We went and did that. I'm sure if you went and asked Kieran Tierney, do you understand why we had to do this? I'm sure it's turned man. He's a very intelligent guy. Kieran Tierney, he would have turned around and said, yeah, I get it. I totally understand it. But at the same time, especially Kieran Tierney, with his situation, and I hope it goes for all of the players, this kid will fight and fight and fight. He's not someone who's going to end up moaning because he's a substitute. He's not someone who will go to keep driving the manager mad. He realises that, to be a successful team, you've got to have great players in every position. And we have got great players in that left-back position. And all he's got to do is bide his time. Kieran Tierney buys his time, he'll get in, he'll get a chance, and he'll stay in. And I think that's what will happen this weekend. I didn't think Tomiyasu had a great game against Leeds. He's not a proper left-back. Zinchenko's still there. And now Tierney's going to get his chance. And now he can take his chance. He can have a very good game against Southampton. And hopefully he'll get a run of games. And that's the way you got to do it. Keep rotating, keep swapping the players over in the league, bringing the Lukongas in. If Cedric comes back, then get him in playing in the right back. We're swapping the goalkeepers over. Nketiah is playing, but it's still important. If you're in just one competition, you can't do that. Obviously, the happiness in the group. I think the documentary helped. I think that was a really good stroke of genius from Arteta. If he was asked, do you want to do the documentary? He knew from Man City the sort of the way that they sort of all come together there, and I think he's doing it well, and I think he's doing 10 out of 10. So for rotating, giving the players a chance. And he's even playing Vieira and Odegaard together in matches now as well. So what I'm seeing, he's doing it perfectly.
Jerome, I'll get onto the question about rotation in a sec, but would you start Kieran Tierney back in the next game, or would you stick with Tomiyasu?
So do you mean for the Europa League game or for the Southampton game?
Both. Let's take both, because I feel like, does it really matter? Are you going to play? Would you play Tomiyasu against PSV and then Kieran Tierney against Southampton, or is it time? Or would you? Because although yes, I understand that Kieran Tierney does have an injury record, which is not great. However, this is a Kieran Tierney we wouldn't have thought twice about playing back-to-back games on a Thursday and then a Sunday previously. So why not now?
Well, for me, the fact that Tierney, I think, played 90 minutes on Thursday, I don't think he was ever going to play on Sunday. Okay. I think that he played, I think there's part of that. I think he also probably played Tomiyasu on Sunday as a reward for playing so well against Liverpool, rather than he was the right man for that game. And I think Southampton away, if you're asking me now in the league, which for me is more important than the PSV game, I think he's probably learned, Arteta, that Southampton away, you probably want more of a Tierney left back than a Tomiyasu left back in that type of game. Have Tierney on the left, bombing down the wing. Someone that's he's obviously a natural left-footed player. So I would do that. It's a bit worrying that we haven't heard anything about Zinchenko at all. There's been zero reports about this injury, what it is, how long he's going to be out for. So,
well, the Ukraine boss, to the dismay of Mikel Arteta, like the week that Mikel Arteta was being a bit shifty with his news because it was around a Tottenham game, and he was like, "Oh, will he be back? Oh, yeah, I don't know, maybe. Oh, I think he could be back. It's not been ruled out." They turn around and goes, well, the Ukrainian boss coach has turned around and said he'd be out for 3 weeks after the national break. And Arteta was like, that's not the case. I was thinking, he's let the cat out of the bag there, clearly, when Arteta didn't want anyone to know how long this injury could potentially be. So, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It's in that he came out with that while Arteta was saying that he doesn't know whether he's going to play on the weekend. And the Ukrainian coach is saying he's out for 3 weeks. So, interesting. So you would potentially would you play Tomiyasu? We're going to go into the preview in a bit. Would you play Tomiyasu with a view for playing Tierney on the weekend again and getting him back into that starting lineup?
I'd be more inclined to play Tierney left back against Southampton in the league because of his injury record. I'm just worried. Same as Tomiyasu, to be honest. He hasn't had the best injury record either last season. So I just think you've got to be a bit smart, and try. Look, they're both going to play a lot of football. Good thing Tomiyasu is he could play anywhere along that defence. He could play right back, he could play centre back, he can play left back. Tierney only can really play one position, but just rotate. Look, they're both brilliant. Like we're really like picking between two fantastic players, aren't we? But I think the game. Tomiyasu at left back suits when they've got a quality like a play defensively against the Salah, where he cuts inside on his left foot, he goes into Tomiyasu, and you'd back him 1v1 defending. I mean, you'd back Tierney as well, but I think Tomiyasu is he's physically stronger, more imposing, better in the air.
I think it's the first time in a long while. Just you saying that, I think it's the first time in a long while I pretty much back all our defenders to withstand a one-on-one against most players. I'm just thinking because Saliba and Gabriel have come up against Harry Kane, and they can get any change out of him. I mean, Salah's still in Tomiyasu's pocket, only on day release to score goals past Man City. So I'm for the full. Ben White has been an absolute colossus at right back. Ben Hur is who it is, mate. Like unbelievable.
He's chariot.
Yeah. So Jerome, do you think Mikel Arteta is doing a good job of this rotation? And how does he keep the rest of the squad sweet? Is the Europa League enough to keep the likes of Eddie Nketiah, Sambi Lokonga, who we'll get on into a second about his recent comments? We've already seen that Nuno Tavares has not stopped speaking since he's been at Marseille and dropped another interview the other day. It's like, just shut up. Just shut up. I like you. Just shut up.
It helps. It helps when you're winning games. That's for sure. But I think what Arteta tried to do when he first came in is obviously he wants players that have got very good attitudes, and sometimes you need to maybe put the team ahead of yourself, which is easier said than done. But they know they're all going to play a lot. I mean, I'm sure Nketiah would like more minutes in the Prem. Definitely the same with Sambi, and Sambi might be a bit of a different case because he played a little bit at the beginning and then he was basically. He didn't play for a long time. It's tough because you've got, everyone's got an ego. Everyone wants to play, but they will all play, but just maybe not in their preferred competition, perhaps. It's hard. It's hard.
I think it's one of them situations. Look, if the team's winning and you ain't playing, there's not really anything you can say. You can let the manager know that you aren't happy about the situation, but you're there for the team.
I'll call it now. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Jesus against PSV and sticks Nketiah against Southampton.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The thing is, Jesus might be injured.
Just remember the date, remember the time. I wouldn't
write that down. I'm writing that one down. That one.
Yeah,
that one might, mate. I'm doing my lottery results this week.
May even be out for both. So it could be Nketiah on Thursday and Nketiah on Sunday, because Did he train? No, Nketiah's not going. Jesus ain't going Thursday. He's not flown over, is he? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's at home. It's at home.
Is it home? We not played him already.
No, this was the game that got that was postponed.
It wasn't it? This was Man City was meant to be.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm glad we ain't playing Man City. I'm glad we ain't playing Man because this ain't even the right time to play Man City.
Bring him on.
Nah, it's not the right time to play Man City. We played Liverpool at the right time. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. I don't care. I'll take that result. Steve makes it. There we go. This Steve's there. Zaha, Salah, they all got caned. Yes, they did. I like that message. Very, very good. No one stood a chance against our back four. Absolutely bossed it.
Put the link in the comments. Get Stephen on. Get him on. Come on, Stephen.
Steve, killing it. Just we get to Sambi the Conga. It's actually in quite a few papers recently that Sambi the Conga says he was peed off at the fact he was not called up by Roberto Martinez in the last squad. He admits that he was disgusted with the attitude or the recent treatment by Martinez. He feels that he wasn't spoken to about the situation. Martinez apparently said that he wasn't training well enough. And Sambi Conga was even thinking of quitting international football because he didn't like the fact that his name was dragged through the mud as a bad boy. What would your advice be to Sambi Conga at this moment in time, Steve? Because I'm sure he's frustrated at the fact that he's not getting game time at Arsenal. That's not what this article was about. This was about him not getting game time or being selected for the Belgium squad. But you're going to get players in the team at the moment that are potentially worried about getting called up for their national team with the World Cup so close.
On a personal basis, this is just me. I don't think he's done himself any favours.
He's not, has he?
For me. No, I think he's been a little bit unprofessional with what he said. And if he had any hopes of getting into the Belgium squad, I don't think he's got any hope now. After that, all he's done is make his chances of going to the World Cup worse. He's not made it any better. So yeah, I'm sure after the fact he'll have to regret that. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta will pull him to one side and say, "Look, you can't do that, mate. You've just got to get on with it. If you're upset, don't go don't go to the papers. Don't say you're pissed off with a manager. Don't say this because it makes you sound like you're feeling sorry for yourself and worries me. And managers don't like that, and I don't think fans like it. Even Arsenal fans, I think you'll find most Arsenal fans won't agree with what he's done. I mean, it's great that in deep down he may very well think that he should be part of it. Well, then he just keep quiet, and plays football and get and convince Martinez that way. But I don't think he's done himself any favours. I can't think of the Belgian team these days, but off the top of my head, their midfield's pretty strong. So I don't know who he expects to get in front of. With players like De Bruyne, and the rest of them, Hazard, and God knows who else. Tillemans.
I don't
know what he thinks. What's his?
I think his point was that they didn't get called up to the squad. So I think his point was, if they're not getting called up to the squad and you've not selected me, then I'm never getting in this team. So I think he's a bit. He's basically called it out. He said, look, if you have just brought in this squad, these not in this squad, this not in this squad, and you've still not picked me, what hope have I got?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Steve's advice: keep calm and carry on. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't do that. Very unprofessional. And he's done himself no favours, the boy. So yeah, let's hope Martinez. I think he needs to apologise. I think he's got to be the bigger man, or he's got to hang his head in shame, knock on Roberto Martinez's door, and apologise for what he said. If he wants any chance to go to the World Cup.
Oh, my quotes were taken out of context. I didn't use the words. I mean, it's the words, isn't it? It's the words. Look, you could be upset, but it's come out. I think the main headline was "I'm pissed off," and it's like I'm disgusted. Like pissed off and disgusted are two words that you can't really be using when you're talking about the international manager. Jerome, the Congo's comments about Martinez. Could he potentially have written off his chances of going to the World Cup? Or do you think he's young and Martinez should be a little bit more understanding of the situation?
I think my dad's got it right. He said, "Always let your football do the talking." Like, all he needs to do is get his head down, and when he plays, we should come away from that game saying, "God, the Congo was unbelievable today," or "He was amazing tonight." Like, we're not. Look, we've got a couple of good central midfielders in Partey and Xhaka, but apart from that, we're not blessed with a plethora of central midfielders. Like, he's got an unbelievable.
No, I agree. Yeah. Like, he's got from them two. After that, actual central midfield, El Nenny's injured, and then he's next in line.
Yeah, that's it. He's got an amazing opportunity to have a big impact on this team, like when he plays. Look, before the season started, there was talk, wasn't there, of the position where Xhaka plays. Maybe that's up for grabs. Now that's not even a conversation now. That's obviously partly due to how well Xhaka's doing, but also Lukonga's not exactly knocking the door down to play, is he? Like,
no,
he's got a lot.
He's got six, isn't he? He has been playing. He slips more into that six to cover for Partey.
Yeah. He's
John, do you see anything? Just like, do you feel anything into the fact that we was like this close to getting Douglas Luiz? Do you feel we don't fancy him?
That does, maybe, but that didn't happen. So he hasn't got that. He hasn't got that as an excuse or a reason. And like, I've seen Douglas Luiz play. Yeah, he's all right. He doesn't strike me as being someone that's a lot better than Lukonga.
No.
Especially with the ages they're at. I think he's a very good player, Lukonga. I think he's actually excellent, but I think it's a lot of he doesn't seem to be like very energetic. He seems to sometimes play it like in second gear. He doesn't give it like 100. Seems to me like he's got a few more gears to go up. And that might be.
Do you think that's what Martinez may have been talking about when he's felt like he's not a good trainer? Yeah,
maybe, possibly, but I think he's got loads of potential. And maybe that's something that needs to be like coached into him. But I wouldn't write him off. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think he's done well for us. I think he's done well.
I think this season when he's come in, when he's come in, he's looked a lot better than last season. I thought when he played last season early doors, he looked good. I think it was a bit too much for him last season with the amount of games he was asked to play, considering he just joined us, and it got on top of him a bit much. It was a bit too much pressure. Bit asking too much of him, such a young player in the Premier League first season. But I think this season when he has come in, he's done a lot better, and I've been very impressed with him. In pre-season, he looked a lot sharper. I just hope that he has a bit more patience than what I've seen, one, in the documentary, and now, worryingly, what I've seen not even 6 months later in the newspapers about his national team. I worry that we've got a bloody Lasara Diarra on our hands, where he's got all the talent and he's got to be a good player, but he just can't wait. He just can't be patient enough to bide his time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got Thomas Partey, who's a sneeze away from a knee injury or a calf injury or quad injury. Granit Xhaka, God forbid, he's not going to roll his ankle in a 2-footed challenge. And El Neni is out for basically the whole season. Like, you're next in line, mate. You're next in line. So I urge just a bit of patience for.
Maybe he has got an attitude problem, Kears. Maybe he has got an attitude problem, and maybe that is the reason why Arteta was looking at Douglas Luiz.
I don't know. Sambi Lukonga, I didn't see him as a number 6 last season. I didn't see him as a 6. I see Douglas Costa as a 6. I see Sambi Lukonga as a CM. Like the old school CM, which doesn't seem to exist anymore, and a number 8. Like I see him as either the in between of that or a CM. I don't necessarily see him as a 6, but now Arteta's been playing him in a 6. Maybe that's just to compensate for the fact that we didn't get a Douglas Luiz, and I think the Congo's done well there. So it just shows that he has got more game than I thought. Because I feel like he's a very rangy player, and I was thinking he's probably a bit more going forward and probably get a couple of goals and a couple of assists. But look, I just think he has just got to be patient. Like that's it. Literally, all we're asking for is a bit of patience, and you will get games. Like you can't have a 2-man midfield for 40, 50 games a season. It never happens. So you just got to use his brain.
Yeah.
Because same situation as what I saw in the documentary where Eddie had to put him back in his place and say, basically, there's more than not you just not playing. And Eddie probably took that personally to say, like, bro, I was 9. I've been in this first team since Arsene Wenger was here 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm still not a regular. How are you telling me I want to be playing? I get you want to be playing, but calm down and stay in your lane. Like,
It sounds like he does a bit of that at Arsenal, then, doesn't it? Then it sounds like he's a bit like that at Arsenal, so you can see why.
I think what it was, he was looking down. He was down, and then they asked, "What's up? What's up?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not playing," and he was like, "Eh?"
You said the players.
None of us are playing. There's all the youngsters sitting around as well. None of us are playing. What are you talking about? And the oldest of the youngsters is Eddie Nketiah, who's been through the ranks before the likes of Smith Rowe, Saka, and all the others. The last one to play, he's sitting there like, "What are you talking about, bro? I ain't playing." Shut up. All right, it's now time for the preview of the PSV game. Arsenal, if they get this, they're essentially through to the last 16, because if you come top, you go straight for the last 16. If you come second, you end up in the final 32. So, Steve, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think will be the starting lineup for Arsenal? Because there's got to be some wholesale changes.
Yeah, there'd have to be. We had a tough game against Leeds. We've got a game, on Sunday against Southampton. So yeah, you're right. There'd have to be wholesale changes. Yeah, weird time. 5:45 kickoff. It's a strange one. Especially don't know why that is, but starting lineup. Well, obviously, I think Matty Turner will be in goal. He'll be a Europa League goalkeeper.
Looking a bit better in the last game as well, wasn't he?
Very good. Oh, excellent. I won probably man of the match. I think we give him an 8. I think he was excellent. He done everything that you would want to ask from your goalkeeper. And it's difficult for goalkeepers who don't get a playing here and there and once every now and then. So yeah, will he play once we get to the semi-finals and the finals? Don't know. I suppose it all depends where position in the league. It could mean on that. But,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So Cedric's back fit. Cedric's fit. So maybe we'll see Cedric play, especially where it's at home. Then left back, I think Tierney will start. So I think we'll see Tomiyasu at left back. Centre back Holding will play. And Gabriel. I think Saliba will get a rest. In the midfield, it'll be Vieira. I think Xhaka will probably start as well, and Lokonga. And then Vieira, Xhaka, Lokonga, and then up front, who do I think they would play? Who I would like to see play? Who do I think will play? I think Marquinhos might get a game. I think give Saka a rest.
He didn't start the last one, did he?
No, he didn't. So I think he could give him a game. Yeah, it was, considering Saka we keep going on about how much he needs rest. So yeah, it was a bit unusual. But yeah, Reece Nelson, I thought he was poor when he played. Eddie up front, obviously, down the middle, and on the left. I can see why he wants a winger. It's Reece Nelson or Martinelli. Yeah, I think play Martinelli. I think Martinelli will get a game. I think he'll play him. He's like a Duracell bunny. I think he can play 3-4 games a week. I don't think it bothers him. So yeah, that'll be my team.
Right. What's his name? Hack God 321 makes a great point. Oh, there he goes. He says media scrutiny in Arsenal is mad, not to mention on Twitter, the Twitter army. Yes, Hack God, I've not seen you before, so press that subscribe, please. I always talk about this Twitter army. I was even talking about the Twitter army today, about how they need to make sure they're on side. Enjoy the journey, I was saying. All right, it's good to see you in there. It's saying Turner is fine as long as he gets over the nerves. England is a huge step up. Yeah, but it feels like, for me, it feels like Turner is getting more confident game in, game out. He's kicking has come on leaps. I remember seeing him kicking in the summer, thinking I thought it was a team that played out from the back. He's not that sort of goalkeeper, but his kicking has got a lot better, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
God agrees with Steve. I don't think you mentioned it today, but you said it last week. Nelson needs to be moved on.
Yeah, I think so.
Jerome, what is your starting lineup?
God, it's hard, isn't it? I think the defence, I think he'll play Tierney at left back. I think he'll play Holding and Gabriel. And I think he might play Tomiyasu at right back. I think he might do that. I think in midfield, I think Lokonga will be the centre midfielder. I'll go with Xhaka and Vieira. Up front, I think Marquinhos will play on the right. I think Nelson will play on the left, but I agree that he's probably not good enough for this team. And up front, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Jesus and gives Nketiah a go at Southampton.
All right.
But I just got a feeling.
Big call. We will see. Stephen asked Kieran, how hard is it to keep concentration as a goalkeeper when you're having long spells, if not being busy, then called into action? It's a good question. It's a lot easier, I tell you, if you are being peppered all game. It's a lot easier. If the first 10 minutes might be quiet, you get a nice couple of catches, boom, shots. You're good. You're getting warmed up. You're keeping warm. I found it quite easy because my game was constantly shouting, constantly pointing out things. I'll be pointing out things up front, talking about where the wingers should be and finish that shot next time, or I'm coming up to finish it. So my mind was constantly ticking over. I was never sitting there just watching the game go by. And I don't know whether that's what some keepers suffer from when they are not good at having games where it's very quiet and then they've got to make a shot, say from a shot or just a gathering from a corner. It's not the easiest thing, but there's things you can do to keep yourself busy. And I'm sure a lot of these keepers do it, but it does depend on your general concentration, whether you can keep focused for a long period of time. Some people just can't, and they need to be kept busy. So, yeah, it is a tough one. Steve, who's your key player?
Key player to win the game. I don't think PSV is going to have a lot of the ball. I think the only tabs on Cody Gakpo. Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what this kid's like. I mean, I've only seen him in highlights, so it'd be interesting to see how he plays the whole game. So, he's like a left winger type striker, isn't he? He's very quick, so he could cause problems. So that could play into who plays as the left back. Is he? I think he's the right-sided player. Not sure, but no, we will have to keep an eye on him. But even with Cody Gakpo, I think we'll probably have 65% of the possession of the game.
Yeah, key player, Jerome.
Yeah, he's been in the press, so we'll go for Sambi Lokonga.
It's at the Emirates. It's at the Emirates.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. It's at the Emirates, so I think we win it well. I think we'll win the game well. So I think the key player will probably be Eddie Nketiah. I think we're going to win well, and I can see Eddie getting a couple of goals.
All right, Eddie Nketiah for Steve.
If he plays, of course, and not Jerome's got this inside information.
If he don't start, Jerome, I don't think you're ever going to live that down. You've got Sambi Lokonga to be the key man, Jerome.
Yeah, just because
he's missing.
Pardon?
To show Martinez what he's missing.
Let's hope so.
All right.
Let's hope so.
All right. Yeah, it looks like Steve gone for Fabio Vieira as the key man there for the game on Thursday. Steve, give us your score predictions.
I think we're gonna win this well. I think we're gonna win it well. I think it'd be a 4-0. I fancy us. Yeah, I think we'll get a goal early, and then I just think the floodgates will open.
Yes.
Right. Jerome's cheering already. Right, Jerome.
Take that, Gary Neville. Did you see Gary Neville's comments after the Man City game?
No, what did he say?
God. They was going around asking who they thought would Man City would finish, or Liverpool would finish. Liverpool on their way back, the usual. After the game, all sitting around their little area there and Sky Sports.
No, I did. It's being muggy.
You
think you can carry it on?
Yeah. He said, "What do you think about?" It was all going to the others. They was going, "Yeah, Arsenal doing well, playing well." Mick and Richards were saying, "Well, they could challenge for the title."
He backed
blah. He backs us. Yeah. Gary Neville comes out. He said, "Yeah, they're up there at the moment." But what it was, I could then understand him saying, "Well, I don't think they win the league. I think City will come, and I never know Chelsea." I can get that. But then he started saying that Newcastle would catch us up.
Yeah, he had his
Newcastle,
didn't he?
apart.
He had his Newcastle, didn't he? No, that was it. He turned round. Yeah. He turned round and goes, "No, they're not going to keep up with the likes of City. They're not going to keep up with the likes of City. I see him more as Tottenham, the United, the Newcastles." What?
Yeah.
Newcastle. What planet?
They'll pull them in. They'll pull them in. He said they'll pull them in.
Hey, let's just go to the Premier League table right now. Let's just go to the Premier League table right now. Yeah, Gary Neville, who is salty at the fact that Man United, he was lauding Man United to do bits this season, and they've done nothing. They've not turned up. They're still paying part time with your man over there. Dr. Noah, whatever his name is. Like, it's having a laugh. Having a bloody, it's working me up. I wish you never mentioned it. Bloody hell. They're 6th spot, yeah? They're 12 points behind us.
Yeah,
12 points behind us. 12 points.
That's 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 5 games because it'd be joint a better goal difference. Arsenal ain't going to lose that all season. I'd say that I'd go that far. Arsenal would have to implode, and Newcastle would have to be like on title winning form.
That's a joke. Hacker God, give us your score predictions and your key player for the game on Thursday. I know. Look, Steve. What I was saying at the start is that. It's that, mate. They're going to try and make you second guess yourself. They're going to try and say that you've been saying we're going to win the league when no one's saying that. We're just trying to enjoy the journey. They're going to try and derail you. They're going to try and make you talk rubbish about your team. They're going to make you. They're going to laugh at you when you suggest certain things. Ignore them, because when it does come to fruition, when we're back up there, we're going to be laughing and we're going to be horrible. And we deserve to be horrible about it because they've been so disrespectful to this team and this club for the last 4 or 5 years. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. When you've got Brighton fans turning around and saying, "Oh, I'm not having it from Arsenal fans, banter FC." It's like, are you what? You what? You sharing your ground at a running athletics track. Embarrassing. How are you talking about us as banter FC? You had a a track around your pitch, mate. You had stands pushed away and folded in like they do at college basketball. It's embarrassing. Don't talk. You barely just hit the Premier League. You're on holiday right now still. This ain't. You ain't living here. This is a vacation, mate. So don't talk to me about Brighton, where Banter SC. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We've never been relegated from the top league, and you're talking about us, Banter SC. Get out. Get out. Have some respect for yourself, because you're embarrassing yourself, people. All right, that is all I have time for.
Right, I've got to cut that.
Bloody hernia. I'm sweating it.
It just winds you up, though. It does. It's just.
All right. Sorry. Jerome, key player and your score prediction.
I'll go. I think it might be a bit close. I reckon 2-1 Arsenal.
Jesus scoring 2.
Both of them.
Right, 4-0 victory. And Jerome has gone for a 2-1 win for the Arsenal. I think Stephen has got Hack God has gone for a 4-1 victory and Martinelli if he starts as a player. And Eddie if he starts. Anyway, they can take the shine off how we are playing. They can't take the shine off our results. They can't. Are we even allowed to celebrate wins? Yes, we can, mate. We can celebrate wins now. Celebrate wins with so much passion, it annoys people. Take glory, take extra triumph from the pain that they have, the tears that fall from their eyes every time we win. That's what you got to do.
Leeds fans were the same. They can't even play the meter. You know, they're grand. It's cheap.
Exactly. Bloody hell. All right, that is all we have time for. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Steve.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Jerome.
Yeah, of course. Cheers. Thanks.
And thank you, everyone who's joined us in the comment section. Thank you very much, Hack God. Thank you very much, Melvin. And thank you very much, Stephen. Make sure you press that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. Make sure you press that share button if you are a regular. And, catch us Thursday for the post-match reaction. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.